Fit Rockstar. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? And I got to meet her there.
Brant here at the Arnold Sports Festival 2022, and I'm walking by and I get 𝗦𝗽cie. Hey, I'm Isabella. I watch your show. And you look beautiful today, by the way. So I'm like, thank you. You've got to get on a camera here with me. And you were talking about the show. So what led you over to see the 𝗦𝗽cie Brant show? Or who led you over to see that?
𝗦𝗽cie Brant led me to see the
Oh, I thought it was Bob.
Well, of course, you did an interview with my buddy, Bob Chick, which was an incredible interview. And what I loved about it was so fun. You did like quiz, asking people, hey, guess what this is? Which is fun. You don't really see that in a lot of interviews because then you get to know somebody. And what I love about your show is that you're very passionate. And of course, obviously being the champion that you are, I mean, you really care about your guests and you really care, about the topics you talk about. So it's just so inspiring. And
wow, this is
awesome.
Sunshine.
You're always bubbly and beautiful. So
okay, you're gonna make me get like leaky eyed.
You don't want to ruin the makeup.
No, oh my God, I know it's been makeup today was a little challenge, but not to go there. But thank you. I really appreciate hearing that because you do stuff and you don't always hear people's thoughts sometimes. And we came here. We're down here at the Arnold Education piece down here at Hall D, and they invited me to come and host the show here. And so we're kind of doing some remote stuff as well as down here at the booth area.
Well, I would love to see more of the 𝗦𝗽cie Brant show at the shows, making a presence. Because again, you bring some heat. You bring some. You've got a lot of your positive energy. Really speaks out, and you're very entertaining. Which is
wow, I am entertaining too.
I mean, you are as far as again, you're very engaging, and we just love you. Who doesn't love 𝗦𝗽cie, right? I mean, you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm rambling now because I'm fangirling. Sorry.
I love it. Well, I really appreciate your thoughts, your comments, what you think I should be doing coming up. So I think that's good to hear, and I'm excited about being here. So today's our first day.
Hey. All right, we are live and I'm so excited. I was just ending my live Instagram and shoot. Okay, I need another person to do this. But anyways, I'm so excited. I'm doing a live show tonight and that's what happens with live, right? It's just as it's coming. So we haven't done today. I have a really fun new gal that I've just kind of gotten to know. She is a host of the Fit Rockstar show. She's a comedian. She likes to wear heels when she's working out. She travels all over the place. She's got all kinds of stuff going on. She's a coach, a trainer, and she's an IFBB pro champ. Let's bring in Claudia. Please bring in and help me welcome Isabelle Turell. All right.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, girl.
Hi. Hey.
Hi. Good to see you.
Hi. Good to see you. I can't believe our interview. Looking back at that, my double chin.
What? I know.
God.
You look beautiful, but you look beautiful now too. So it's good to see you. Where are you? You're traveling right now.
So
Where are you?
I'm like sitting down at the airport because I was supposed to be on a flight earlier today and it got... Well, let's just say whatever she is, the customer service rep, gave away my seat last minute and I had to take another flight. So, I wanted to, I'm in a little place somewhere in the airport. I'm not going to give the location because I don't want any fans coming to come see me. I've had that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's such an honor to be here. I'm really happy. I'm not used to these angles of the things. I'm trying to see what's my best side. But anyway.
Girl, every side of you is good. What are you talking about?
You're my new best friend.
Aw, thank you. It was really fun to meet you at the Arnold, and you really took me by surprise because I haven't been to the Arnold in quite a few years. I'd been there 20 years in a row, and I had some years off, and so it was just kind of an interesting twist for me to go back, especially going back with hosting a show, which was the first time I'd ever hosted the show outside of my little spot right here. So, having you come up and just give me some love and tell me, that you thought I was doing a good job. And, it doesn't matter where we are in life. It's always nice to have that encouragement. So it was a real special message that you gave me, and it encouraged me. So thank you very much for that.
Well, you're very welcome. Listen, I've been a fan of yours for a very long time. I mean, you're an icon in the sport, Miss Fitness Olympia, you just are incredible, and you're just a ray of sunshine. So, who does not love 𝗦𝗽cije? So I do later remind me to tell you a funny story about my ex-fiance and his infatuation with you. I have to tell you this story because it is
just
kind of
share
funny.
it now, because we may forget, because I want to start talking about you.
Okay, so a long time ago, I dated this guy 2008, and he used to be married, and he's a cop, a forensic detective. Oh,
it's okay. I'm still here.
Okay, so that scared me for a second. It was like Twilight Zone. So anyway, he actually had your picture on his desk, something positive to look at. And there's your picture right there. And his wife at the time was extremely jealous of that, because there was no pictures of her, but there was this big picture of you. He was obsessed. He loved you. I mean, again, who does not love 𝗦𝗽cije? But anyway, that's my little story.
That's fun. Well, I have had a handful of those kind of stories over the years. And I remember leaving the Arnold specifically one year, and I walked out, like all of us, you got to leave the Arnold. And I literally saw some of my pictures torn up on the ground that I had, someone had purchased. And, back then we used to be able to sell pictures, not now,
right.
But back then. And I saw my pictures torn up on the ground, and it was, it's been signed to some guy. I don't know who it was, but I'm assuming it was some girl, maybe this.
Of course.
But it was fun. I appreciate those stories, and it's always nice to know I was an inspiration to others. But so let's talk about you, girl, because you've got a big thing going, and you're all over the place, and there's a lot going on with you. I mean, you're an IFBB champ. You have your own show. You're traveling all over the place, and you're working for kind of a big name in the industry. And I just like to know more about you, and and then I want to show you something. I put these on specifically for you because I know that you kind of like good heels.
Yes. Those are wild. I like those.
Thank you. I don't normally wear heels when I'm doing this, but I said, I'm going to wear these just for Belle.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, I saw you doing your deadlifts with some heels on, so that was fun.
8-inch high heels.
You did do an 8-inch?
8 inches platforms.
Okay.
So
that's a lot. I mean,
yeah,
I think I've done the 5 or 6, but definitely not 8.
I'm 5'5", and I hate feeling so short. I'm around a lot of tall people, so I figured, let me channel my inner Lady Gaga and wear some high heels. So,
well, I'm 5'4", so you got an inch on me, girl. So let's go back and let's talk about who you were and how you grew up, and how you became who you are now. Obviously, you had, where'd you grow up? What state are you from? Are you from the United States? Are you from what state?
I'm from, a lot of people say I'm from another planet, but I'm actually from Florida, Orlando. I was born and raised in Orlando, but I was born in Tampa, and I was raised in Orlando. So I'm a native Floridian.
Both great places. Okay. So you love the beach?
I love the beach. I love the water. I love anything with sunshine and water. I moved to Terre Haute, Indiana for a while. And, I do go back and forth from there to Orlando. So I'm in 2 places. And then, of course, I travel to Phoenix for the Fit Rockstar shows. You'd kind of say I live there, too.
Right. So do you live in Indiana right now?
I live in between Indiana and Orlando.
Okay. And then you're in Arizona, too. So how did you grow? Yeah. So how did you grow up? Were you an athlete? Because obviously you've done well in bodybuilding, physique, right?
Well, I could go physique, but it's bodybuilding. It's all good.
Okay.
I usually tell people I'm a bikini person. I compete in bikini, but that's,
Well, nowadays, if you say I do physique stuff to the normal person, they're like physique, and then they're like physique, because now there's actually a physique. Because in the old days, I used to say I compete in physique type competitions, because fitness is like, well, it's fitness. So anyway, so let's talk about that. Were you an athlete growing up?
So I played all kinds of sports. I was very competitive, and my goal was to be a professional soccer player.
Oh.
So I had a full ride scholarship, and then I tore my ACL, and that changed a lot of things, put my career down the tubes as far as in soccer. And then I used to be an actor at Universal Studios, and I saw my first female bodybuilder. Now, mind you, I didn't like bodybuilding. I thought it was pretty silly, you know, wearing a bikini and being all oiled up. And then they had these things, poses, biceps, whatever. I didn't like it, although my grandmother loved American Gladiators and wrestling. So anyway, I was working one day at Universal, and I saw this woman with big biceps. She was maybe 4'11". And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And I went up to her and gave her a compliment and said, hey, you got nice guns. And I know we shouldn't say guns, but I said, you know, you got nice guns. And she's like, well, you could do this too. And I looked at her and I started laughing like, yeah, right. I'm not interested in bodybuilding. Then she gave me her card. She was a trainer. And she's like, well, if you ever want to compete, here's my card. And I took it home and I put it in my drawer. Months later, I came across this card and I said, you know what? You got to try everything once in your life, even if you don't like it, because you never know. At least you can check it off your bucket list. Mm-hmm. And so I tried bodybuilding for the first time, and I saw my first vein, and I was in love ever since.
My first vein.
Yeah, I love bodybuilding. It forever changed my life. It's a great sport.
Now, did she help you then? Did you call her and work with her?
She did help. I gave her a call, and she wrote me a diet. Now, I've never trained weights in my life. We did a lot of polymetric training with soccer, and never seen a gym, so I didn't know how to work out. I didn't know how to diet. I do remember she had sugar-free popsicles on my diet, so that was a real bonus. But
what year was that?
Dieting is not fun.
No. Well, we need the first three letters.
2000.
2000.
Yeah, right. 2000 is when we started.
Okay, so we're 2020. We're 22 years later. Wow, very cool.
Yeah, I'm still in this sport. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, it is.
Yeah, I love what I do. And most importantly, I love the people in the sport. Mm-hmm. We have some amazing champions like yourself. You know, it's truly incredible what you can do with your body. And fitness, of all things, is one of my favorite divisions because, you know, the girls work so hard. And anyway, I'm rambling.
No, I understand, and I know what you're saying. Like,
can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's kind of a couple times delayed, but we'll work it out. Hey, this is live. This is what happens, right? Like, you're in demand. You're on the go. So it makes sense. So you've been doing this now for 22 years. Are you still competitive on stage, or are you done with that stage part of this?
I told myself I was going to be done, but a buddy of mine was pushing me to compete again. And so I started at 210 pounds last year, and I'm down 48 pounds. So I am going to be competing possibly, maybe in 5 weeks. We'll see. Okay. My coach is George Farrer, but the buddy that talked me into competing again is your friend, 𝗦𝗽cie. You know, so he told me I should compete. So
get him back on stage too, right? What's
he
good
should do the Masters.
He should, right? Well, you know, that's the cool thing about this industry is that there's always a level for people. There's always an opportunity. And when we maintain ourselves throughout because of our lifestyle, it's kind of easy to go back and do that if you're staying in a good place, right? I mean, obviously for some people it's more or less, but it's pretty cool. I think it's it's neat. We always have to have goals. You know, goals are so important. Like, right? Like, don't you feel goals are probably one of the most important things that we can continue to have for ourselves?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, for me, I love my job as a Fit Rockstar, the Fit Rockstar show, because I get to interview so many wonderful athletes, and then I get to take them out of their comfort zone, and we do like funny skits and stuff. But hearing the amazing stories like you, when you interview your guest, it's very inspiring. So for me, the one person who really got me the kick in the ass, excuse my language, is Whitney Jones, because of everything she's been through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, if she could do it, so can I, So I'm very fortunate. And then remember, it's the Fit Rockstar, not the Fat Rockstar. So being 210 pounds where I was just not cool. And, I'm not trying to be a pity myself, but I got so involved in my show and with the athletes and the shows, doing commentary, interviewing, that, I forgot the most important thing, which is self-love. You got to love yourself. And I love training. I love dieting. And then I started, I got with George Farah again. And so I feel good. I'm at the best shape that I've been in a very long time. And I'm excited to step on. I'm a little nervous about stepping on stage, but, I love doing the stage presentation and showing off the physique. So we'll see what I bring.
Okay, so you said 5 weeks, and are you working right now with someone on your presentation? You're posing?
Yes, I am. There's a few people that I have that been kind of guiding me a little bit.
Okay.
I didn't want to put their names out there yet because it's kind of
that's okay. It's a little mysterious stuff, right? That's okay.
I like to be a little mysterious.
Right. Speaking of that, so before I'll say you got into this in 2000, and back then we didn't have the internet, and we didn't have, we had some of the internet, but we didn't have the social media aspect of it like we have now, right? And cameras weren't, able to capture video like they are now, and photos, and not everyone. So, back then I remember getting ready for shows, and we always stayed covered up. Like you would go into the gym and you'd stay covered up unless you were doing a photo shoot. Then you do your photo shoot in the gym, and then you'd cover back up. And it wasn't ever like it is now where, and maybe I'm remembering this incorrectly, but it seems like now everyone's showing their physique earlier and earlier and earlier, right? Like some people are like, oh, I'm 6 weeks out, and they look like they should be on stage. And to me, it seems like that's not real easy to maintain, and kind of like really putting it out there so far in advance. Like, how do you feel about that aspect of the industry? Because it leaves little to the imagination. And I don't know, like, how do you feel about what the industry's done now with that kind of leeway leading into a show?
Well, I think some of that too, this has been talked about a lot. A lot of the times with these athletes and influencers that put stuff out there, am I looking at it, it looks like it's filtered a lot of the time, the physiques and the lighting, but listen, you got to do what you got to do. If you have sponsors and things like that, and of course you're inspiring others, by all means, put it out there. I mean, would I do it if I had ripped abs and everything, which I do, but I would put it out there. But yes, you're right. Like, so for me as an old school competitor, I like to leave a little bit for people to, what else does she look like? I'll put some little teasers out there. Here's a tricep, here's some abs, maybe a little bit of a back, but I'm not going to show the whole goods. Like now we see these athletes putting everything out there. I want to surprise people with shock and awe. But to answer your question, I think that I agree. I kind of want to see less of that, and kind of, let's see what you look like on stage. Mm-hmm. I always say that if a person looks really good a few days or a few weeks out, it doesn't matter then. What matters is on stage, when you're competing, because but anyway, I'm all for it.
It's also hard to hold that, maintain it if you are really ripped. It's hard to maintain that leading in. I'm just looking over here. I've got a nice big monitor because I can't read my screen. I'm just seeing if we've got some people that are saying hi over here and comments. So just wanted to say thanks to everyone for joining and leaving comments. So, and if you have any specific questions for Isabelle, make sure you ask away. Love the hat. I'm a New York Yankees fan.
Yeah, my hat's a little dirty, but I love the Yankees.
Yeah. Do you watch baseball?
When I have time, I do. But see, I don't really watch a lot of TV because I'm always out either, at a show, or I'm either training, doing my own thing. So my TV time has been very limited. It's mostly been Netflix and chill, or Amazon Prime. So
yep, got it. So, what are you like? Let me just start that over. When did you start the Fit Rockstar? And is that your first show? No. Oh, well, actually, I want to know about Universal Studios, because you said you were working there. You were an actor there.
Yeah. So that was in my early 20s. I've done a lot of things.
That's exciting. Tell us about
It was very exciting. I mean, listen, you're in the entertainment industry. You get to entertain guests. So my goal then was to give people the best experience of their life, as an entertainer. So I was a dancer as well. And, that was a fun job. I did it for about 7 years and I loved it. I miss it. I wish I can go back, but the schedule doesn't work with, of course, what I do now. So
you're saying you were a dancer. So were you?
I was a dancer and an actor.
Okay, so you were just put in different scenarios and different locations within that.
So I worked originally at the Universal Studios, and then when Islands of Adventure opened, then we transferred over there, which is a very fun job. And I love my job because I got to entertain guests and then just chill out for a little bit, work out, and then do it all over again the next day. And the fun part about it was I got to ride all the roller coasters and rides and all day long. So it was fun.
We're talking about Universal Studios in California.
Or Orlando.
Oh, Orlando. Okay, because you're from there, so that makes sense.
Right.
Because there's one in LA and there's one in Orlando.
Yes.
Okay.
Orlando's better, though.
Okay. I've only been to the one in LA because I've lived out there, and I didn't. So I haven't been to the one in Florida, but okay. So you did 7 years. 7. That's okay. That's a good amount of time.
So back in the day at Universal, they would give away, like during the holidays, we'd have they give away big fat turkeys, hams, all kinds of stuff. They don't do that now, but we had really great perks then. I mean, of course, times have changed, but it is what it is. And like I said, I used to do all kinds of odd jobs and stuff. I love working, and I love entertaining.
Maybe now they'd give away the box of no meat burgers.
Oh, oh my God, the Beyond Burger.
You gross.
Yeah,
John
very
Gibson's
good.
in. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
John's got he's had his own show too. So I was on his show at one point. He's awesome. He has a pretty cool story himself. And Christina, hi, Christina. She says from Moscow. Wow, pretty cool.
Wow, that's a long ways, Moscow. What time is it in Moscow?
Right.
It has to be late.
I know. I don't know. Need to have a world clock up here, I suppose, but it's fun.
Well,
so
I'm honored. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So 7 years there, and then you started working out right around that timing while you were because you met the lady who was a bodybuilder,
right?
And she got you into working out. So was that your first initial working out? Because you said in soccer, y'all didn't really have weights and you didn't really understand.
No, we did polymetric training, but yeah, that was my first working out. So at my first show, I was so nervous that the day before, I was actually the day of the show, early in the morning, I remember 6 a.m. I got up and I was like, oh, I got to go pump up. So I go in her garage gym with no shoes on and I'm just doing biceps. And all of a sudden I stubbed my toe on one of the dumbbells. And I'm like, oh my God, it hurt. I don't know if you ever stub your toe, but it really hurts. It feels like you broke it. Mm-hmm. And so I started crying because I'm like, oh my God, all this hard work I've done. Now am I going to be able to compete? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to suck it up, go on stage limping. And I wind up getting second place. But when I was 23 years old, after getting into bodybuilding, I really, really loved the gym. And so I started a personal training business from ground zero. I would train people at the gyms and then I would go to their homes and then I would set up gyms in their homes. And then eventually at 23 years old, I opened up my own gym with my partner at the time. And Signature Fitness in Orlando is a very, very nice studio and worked hard. I actually slept in my gym for the first few months because I would start training people at 5 a.m. till 11 p.m. at night. And I'm like, well, shoot, by the time I go home, I got to get back up again and come back. So I would have a little cot in my office, sleep in there and hustle and work and train and do my thing. And, ended up having a very successful gym, which still stands till today. I'm obviously not the partner in it anymore, but it's a great gym. So anyway.
That's a cool story. That's really impressive. And, I've heard a lot of people, in fact, I was married to a guy one time that owned gyms, and that's how he started off, just living in his office and staying there. And, you know, he was like, I just saved money because I wasn't making much money in the beginning. He had started Powerhouse Gym. So I've heard that so many times from other people that had gyms that, you know, you're married to that business and you're excited about what you're doing and you're putting so much time in there that you have to just kind of narrow down your leaving, coming and going so that you can just focus on building that and being there for your clientele. I mean, yeah, that's dedication, girl.
A lot of dedication.
Yeah, you had it. So how old were you when you were doing the Universal Studios job?
Oh man, you had to go there at the age.
I'm in my 50s, girls. That's okay.
So of course I was in my 20s. Okay. So I started at 18 years old.
Okay.
And then, you know, from there, 24, 25, then I got out and focused more on bodybuilding.
Okay. What was your first show in bodybuilding? Where was it?
The Mid Muscle Classic, Deke Warner show. Deke Warner is a pro judge. I think he's an Olympia judge as well, but that was in Orlando, Florida.
Okay. So you had opportunity to drive there and friends, family, people could come watch you easy enough that were in the area. Did you have a large crew that came and watched?
I did not have a large crew. I was very embarrassed. I think my mother went there. My mother went, and some of my friends from work, Universal, went, but I didn't really want them to see me because, you know, I was embarrassed. You know, so anyway, but
that is so interesting.
Well, I know, and I should have probably had a big crowd there, but I was, like I said, I was embarrassed. I didn't want them to see me, my little bikini, and making fun of me.
Was it because you didn't know what to expect with your physique on stage?
I didn't know what to expect at all because, again, I knew nothing about bodybuilding, zero. You know, I'll tell you a really quick story. At 2003, I decided, people told me, oh, you got a lot of potential in bodybuilding. And I'm like, okay. And because I couldn't get become a pro soccer player, I wanted to become a pro in some type of sport. So then I found out you become a pro in bodybuilding. So I'm like, okay, so what do you have to do? What's the things? And I found out you have to do a national qualifier to do a national show to, you know, obviously get a pro card. So then I look in the calendar, it's like October, and I'm in Orlando, right? And I see the only thing available now is California, LA, you know. And I'm like, oh, great. Why do I really want to go to LA, the mecca of bodybuilding? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm scared because I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Then I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm Isabelle Turell. When I put my mind to something, I can do it.
Yeah.
So here I am, this Orlando, Floridian girl, you know, going to California, the mecca. I had no idea of anything bodybuilding. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know any competitors, nothing. I'm going in blind. And a couple of days before I was flying over, I met a guy by the name of Bill Dobbins, who, you know, is a famous photographer, historian, bodybuilding, been around a long time. And I asked him if we could do a photo shoot because I was a big fan of Linda Murray, 8-time Miss Olympia, and 4-time Miss Olympia, 𝗦𝗽cie sais𝗍𝗍𝗱. And of course, you know, he's done some really great photos. So I come in Friday morning and I go to this guy's house, and here he is with his glasses, big, tall, gauntly looking guy. And he's like, come on in. And then when I get in my posing suit, he's like, oh my God, where have you been at? I've never heard of you before. And you're so ripped and all these things. And Bill is actually the guy that taught me how to pose. I didn't know how to pose at all. But anyway, the next day was the show. And I guess I was really drawn in and shredded. And I didn't know anything. Like I said, I didn't know any bodybuilders. You talked about wearing a tracksuit. So I was the kind of person, I still am, where I wear my tracksuit and I keep it up. And I didn't want anybody seeing me until it was time to go on stage. So then this guy comes up to me, a competitor, and he says, man, you're ripped. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I got my tracksuit on. My face is just so sunk in. But anyway, long story short, I get on stage pre-judging. They call me to the middle. And it was a huge class. It was a big class. And I didn't realize this, but there were girls there from nationals the week before. And again, I don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. Go in there. I get the first call out right in the middle. The night show comes around. I end up winning. I win the show. I won the entire thing. I won my class, won the overall.
Wow.
And everybody was talking about me. They're like, who's this girl? Where'd she come from? So that was the start of the bodybuilding for me, and I was really hyped up, and I got my USA's win at 2008.
Okay.
I should have had it earlier, but Isabelle was in a whole nother world, so I should have had it 2 years earlier, but in 2006. But anyway.
But you got it. Yep.
I got it.
Well, Bill Dobbins is awesome. He's definitely one of the top photographers in this industry for a very long time, and very unique person. Did he play his guitar for you?
No, but he did play me some audio music of him singing.
Yeah.
So.
He plays his, I remember one of my shoots with him, he played his guitar, and, very unique. And he has, like you said, he has shot all of the top bodybuilder women in the past. And I haven't seen him in a long time, but I've worked with him a couple times, but he definitely is very talented. And of course he knows the industry inside and out. And I could see that he would definitely be able to help you pose, like teach you how to pose, like, so knowing exactly. John. Yep. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's funny because during that show at the pre-judging, I hear this guy saying, "Biceps, Bell, show them the biceps." And it was him yelling for me. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But the funny thing about Bill, he does know he knows a lot of stuff, and he reminds you that he knows a lot of stuff. He's a great person, and I never seen so many cats in my life at his studio. This guy's got a lot of cats, but he's a really great guy. Really great guy, and really fun to talk to.
Yeah, and he loves what he does, and he's very talented. All right, John Butler. John Butler, been a while. Glad I'm able to see you live again. Thanks, John. Speaking of blast from the past, so John Butler has been in the industry probably longer than I have, maybe. And he used to be involved with Muscle Mag. Remember Muscle Mag International?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. A great magazine.
Very involved in that magazine and worked directly with Robert Kennedy and a photographer as well. He's a great guy up in Canada. So, yeah, old school magazine stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I actually have a couple of magazines, Muscle and Fitness, that you're on. I think the one of them you were with Jay Cutler, right? Mm-hmm. It's like that's like one of my favorite. Yes, that's like my favorite magazine cover. I think that I had like the abs. It had like an abs thing in there too. I want to remember. I want to recall. But anyway, that was one of my favorite covers with you on it. When you've been on over 100 covers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's kind of funny because for all of my life, I've never had any covers up. Like I started in 94. This was my first cover right here with Dennis.
Oh, wow.
And I never had these up. And about a year, in 2020, I had a cover, this cover come out, Bodyscape magazine. Yep. With my good friend, Sarah Lyons. And
beautiful.
Thank you. So that came out January 2020. Then the lockdown happened, right? And then I had a girl over here doing massage for me somewhere before the lockdown, I think. And she saw that magazine sitting out on the living room on, just on the kind of, and she's like, what is that? She goes, oh, your cover. And she goes, why don't you have that hanging up in your house? And I'm like, I don't want to have any of my covers hanging in my house. Like, that's weird, to me. She goes, if I were you, I'd have them all over the place. So I said, that's crazy. But what happened is I decided to put some up on the wall behind me. So what's cool about this wall is it's invisible to anyone walking in my house. They literally have to walk into my office and turn around and see it. So and then my husband came up with, hanging my medals here, and, track stuff and other stuff. And then
why is that weird for you though? I mean, you're a champion, you're model.
I didn't want it in my house, like where people could, because the office is the first door when you walk into our house. And it's got, French doors. And I just didn't, you can see my trophies if you kind of come in and look up on our shelving. But I just never wanted it to be all about me. But it's been so fun having some of them up. So I think I've got maybe 40 or something up. I can't even know how many. But there's so many more. And I don't have any more room to put any more up. And so, but it's kind of fun. I just after all these years, I've never had any covers up until, 2020. We put them up, and then I started doing the show, and so it's just kind of been fun to have.
So I have to ask you the question: what is your favorite magazine cover that you've been on? Your favorite shoot?
Well, I have to say that the Muscle and Fitness where I was by myself was probably, where is it? I had it up here. Where did I put it? Now that I can't even see it. Oh, it's right here. Can you see this one?
Oh, yes, yes.
Right here.
Beautiful.
So that one, I think I'm probably most proud of because I know that Muscle and Fitness has had very limited amount of single female covers in the whole history. And they started in the 50s, I believe. It was in maybe 56, 57, 58, somewhere like that is when Muscle and Fitness started. And I just think that's one of the ones that I'm most proud of because I know that the industry for Muscle and Fitness specific, you know, they've had very few solo women covers. And so that one I think I'm most proud of. And I actually really like that one. And I also had a really crazy story behind that one because it took me 3 hours to get to the photo shoot.
3 hours.
And they waited for me and they were so nice to me. Well, I've had eye issues my whole life. I've had eye issues. And at that point, I'd had a doctor who promised me he could fix my eyes, which he couldn't. But so he kind of messed up my eyes, really. And I'd had LASIK done 3 times. And so I ended up with corneal abrasions from the LASIK. And so that particular day, I woke up and my eyelid had stuck to my eye. And so when I opened my eyes, it tore some of my cornea off because of the. So I remember I was in so much pain and living in LA, like nobody has time to come do anything for you. Everyone's busy and it's like, it takes, 2 hours to get anywhere, even if it's 5 minutes away, it's just because of traffic. And so I didn't have, and back then we didn't have Uber. We're talking, this is 2003.
Right.
And so I remember, and I think there was taxi cabs, but my eye hurt so bad. And I had to go to my eye doctor to get they put what they call a contact Band-Aid on my eye to protect it. But I had to drive myself. I remember crying. I called a couple of my friends. Nobody could come get me. Everyone was working and involved and stuff. And I remember calling Robert Reef was a photographer. And Robert knew me really well. And we worked together for so many years. So I remember calling and was just like, I'm in so much pain right now. And can you let me get to my eye doctor, which is going to take me, I don't know how long to drive because I was driving like this. And so I ended up going to my eye to get there. They had to, do a little work and put lens on. And then I drove. And so my eyes were bloodshot when I got to the photo shoot. So we get through the photo shoot.
Oh my God.
And when you look at the picture, you can tell they went in and they doctored my poor red eyes and made them white again. But that one, like big memories. And I was always so thankful that they allowed me that space because, when you book stuff like that with a magazine, like, you can't cancel those things and rebook them very easily. I don't know nowadays, but back then, it was like, so that one was probably one of my favorites. And of course there's a lot of, there's a lot that I really loved and some fun to just look at them and kind of, even my very first one, but we could talk about covers forever because there's always a fun story about covers, but yeah. This is awesome. So I want to know a little bit more about you as you said you grew up in Florida and you were a soccer champion. So did you play soccer all the way through?
I did.
And
I played
college?
it for a very long, into college. Yeah, that was my love. I've tried to play basketball, but I don't know how to dribble. I can shoot,
right.
But I can't dribble or anything. And then I played softball. That didn't work out well. I ended up getting a black eye during one of the games. The ball hit me in my face, and then that was over. So, but soccer is my first love.
Wow, that's a lot of running. Did you run track at all, or just soccer?
I did do a little bit of track, but my position was the center fullback. So I got to knock people down and protect the goal. That was the fun part. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you've got some aggressive athletic abilities.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, did you ever get into any of the women's wrestling stuff? Was that ever something that you had been interested in? I guess with the knee, that would have been challenging too, though.
I did have an opportunity in my early 20s for WWE, but I did not fulfill that because I ended up getting cold feet. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back then too, it was so different, right? Than what it evolved for the women. So,
Right.
and
It
then
was different.
yeah, and then they've got, so big. I don't know if you saw my interview with Trish Stratus.
Mhm.
I interviewed her. It's been over a year, but we had so much fun. We didn't do a live. We did a recording. We talked for probably 3 hours. It was
Oh
so
my
fun.
God.
It was a great interview. And then we split that up into 3 different interviews, or episodes basically. But it was so fun because she and I kind of got started in the industry, in the fitness industry at the similar timing. I think she might have been 1 or 2 years later than me, but not much. She didn't compete in the industry like I competed, but she had a big name, and then she went on and done the wrestling thing. And she was like one of the premier first women's wrestlers that made such a big name and really brought it to life. So
Trish was amazing. I mean, she was gorgeous and she was a badass wrestler.
Yeah.
I remember.
Just became a big fan of Belle. She's no joke. Nope, you're right, King Size. King Size, thanks for all of your comments. And I know he's been watching a lot of the interviews and encouraging. So thank you so much. Okay, so when did you start your show, the Fit Rockstar?
So I was given the opportunity by the great Jake Wood, who is the owner of the Olympia, the owner of Wings of Strength. And how that started was by doing commentary and interviews at shows. And I guess Nico, who is the producer, director of my show and many other shows like FemFlex Friday, the Dennis James podcast, and some other ones, he gave me an opportunity as well. And they love my personality because I'm a little bit out there. And I'm always genuine. I try to keep things real. And so Jake reached out to me and said, "Hey, what do you think about having your own show?" And I'm like, "Huh? Me?" And so, so my show is supposed to be like Tosh.0, if you know Tosh. It's a little bit of sketches and comedy. And then, of course, we do an interview where, we try not to be serious. We want to have fun. It's all about positivity, but also we want to inspire people.
Right.
So my thing is, when I have people on my show, they are number one. I want people to know where they came from and hopefully get inspired, because again, we all have a story, but a lot of us don't get to hear their story,
Right. So how do you choose who you interview?
So I put a bunch of names in a hat and then I pick them. No. So how I choose people is the vibe, just what they've been through, just their personality, those kind of things.
And
go ahead.
Are you interviewing people in the same location, or are you going on locations and interviewing people?
Sometimes we do on location at shows, but for example, next week I fly out to Phoenix for 2 days, and I'll be filming India Paulino, IFBB Pro Bikini, and then 𝗦𝗫cie, who is a female bodybuilder who just won the Tampa Pro Show. Okay. So I'm also doing a Zoom with Akeem Williams, Open Men's Bodybuilder Champion, and then Keon Pearson, actually Akeem just won the Open at the Tampa Pro Show, and Keon just won the 212. So I got these two champions. I'm dying to have Chris Bumstead on my show, but because he's just amazing. But yeah, so I love having all different types of people. I've had wrestlers, former WWE wrestlers. I've had MMA fighters. I try to have a variety of people. But of course, I always go back to our champion athletes. One of my fun ones was Sean Clarita, because we dressed him up as Mr. T. And so that was a blast. And then I had Oksana Grishina on my show, and we did goat yoga where the goat ended up peeing on me during our filming. So that was really embarrassing, but
And so are a lot of these athletes coming to you to be able to do the interviews?
Yeah, so a lot of them have made the time to come out for a day and a half, and we film. And I'm very grateful that they take the moment out of their busy schedule. I mean, these are, top Olympians coming out, and again, it's not easy to get to Phoenix. It could be a real chore, and it's so hot.
I know, right? Yeah. We love Arizona. We're out there a couple times a year for horses. We go horse show there, but I guess it was a year and a half now, and I came out to film for FemFlex Friday with Linda. And that was fun. Yes, I got to fly out there and come see the studio. And it was the first time I actually met Jake Woods in person. Because
he's a pretty short guy, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, real short. Yeah, we had great conversation, and I really enjoyed my time there. It was awesome. Yeah.
You know, Jake's a really great person, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity that he gave me, and of course all the athletes. You know, now he's the owner of the Olympia. Him and Dan Sullivan have obviously done some awesome things with the Olympia. But yeah, Jake's the guy who gave me the opportunity for the Fit Rockstar show, and I'm very grateful because I pretty much get to do what I love. I get to have fun, and I get to hear some incredible stories.
Yeah.
And I get to take people out of their comfort zone. So I had Whitney Jones on, and she thought I was nuts. But, you know, then again, Whitney's a little crazy herself. We did a dog shock collar. So I had the dog shock collar on, and she's like zapping me and stuff. And
how does that feel? Does that hurt?
It really hurts. Yeah, it doesn't tickle.
It doesn't tickle. I guess you can put it. You can raise the intensity or lower it, right?
Yeah. So we went all the way to 20, and it was very intense. So I mean, when it shocks you, you're literally it sucks because your whole body's freezing up. But
well, yeah, the other thing is for human, there's not hair here, and right with a dog, they have, and some a lot more than others, obviously, and thicker skin because God made them so they could be outside potentially. With just their hair coat, right? So I'm sure that if you didn't, unless you had your hair wrapped around your neck, it was way intense. You're like,
no, it was pretty intense. And she just wouldn't lay off that button. She kept on hitting and hitting. I think she was getting pretty happy seeing me in pain. So, you know.
Now, I saw one of your videos with her, I believe, where she found the donut.
Yes.
Was that the same?
Yeah, I had a donut in my bag of spinach. And I'm like, oh, I'm on my diet, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden this donut pops out. She's like, wait a minute. Sees the donut, zaps me a few times. So she's mean.
She's fun. I had the privilege of having her on right after she won the Olympia. And Wendy Fortino was co-hosting with me. And she came on like just literally 2 days. It was probably a Tuesday. We did a live show right after her Olympia win. So she was so excited and high, and you know, just like that energy that still like feeling like she probably just finished her routine, all, you know, with that energy that you get from doing something like that. Yeah,
she's a great girl.
Yeah. Okay, so you're about 5 weeks out. How are you carrying your food with you? Do you have food with you right now?
No, because I'm done eating. I usually stop eating like around 6, 7 o'clock usually. So it's past. Yeah, I'm done eating.
Is that for fasting? Is that for fasting purposes overnight or?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because in a couple hours I'll be going to the gym. I like to do early morning workouts like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And so, for example, I was in Atlanta for a few days, and there's this gym down there. It's 34,000 square feet. It's called Madhouse Gym. And I'm addicted to it because, well, it has every single piece of equipment you can think about. And there's no two of the same. And I mean, it takes 28 hours to do, let's say, one set at 3 minutes to do every piece of machine in that 28 hours. But I'm not that I did that record. But anyway, so for my training, I'm going to be.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, so this gym is 34,000 square feet. It's filled with equipment. Okay. If you was to do every single piece of equipment in there, one set at 3 minutes, it will take you 28 hours to do every single machine.
Wow.
Yeah. And I only know that because I asked the gym owner about it. But look, they've got all the nice equipment. It's pretty much heaven. If you love the gym, you're addicted to the gym, this is heaven. 24 hours. And so what I did was I got myself an Airbnb, and I'm going to be staying there for several weeks and just training in this gym. And I'm really excited because I've never done something like this before. And I'm like, you know, why not? You know, the nice thing about me is that I live life to the fullest. And I'm always going here, going there, traveling. Every weekend I'm at a show. And listen, it's a little bit hard on the road sometimes because, you know, you got your meals and then you got to find a gym. And a lot of people always ask me, how do you do it, Isabelle? I mean, how do you stay focused? Well, it's pretty simple. I have like 11 gym memberships. Anytime Fitness, yes. Planet Fitness. Nobody likes Planet Fitness, but listen, if you got to train, you got to train, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And then I have my meals. I bring them with me. I usually get a hotel where I can cook my meals fresh. You know, I do the Instacart thing, you know, so I also have trifecta meals I bring with me. Trifecta. I bring that with me too. So, you know, I'm pretty set.
Well, I remember those days of traveling with my foods. And I think when I found out and learned about fasting, that was a game changer for me. And I know right now I'm not trying to get ready for a show. So it's different when you're trying to put muscle and keep muscle and really specific to get on stage. But I love fasting because I love the freedom from food that it has taught me, and how I can manipulate and handle my hunger hormones or hunger pains or hunger crazy.
I like that, the hunger hormones.
Yeah. And, you know, and of course, insulin. I mean, because I'm in my 50s now and I need to watch if I have carbs for me aren't real good for me. Like they make me feel a little crazy inside and heat me up. And, you know, I don't like that feeling. And
Same here.
Right. And some of it is high, you know, from, you know, the insulin, but I think some of it's hormonal too, right? Like with being my age. And so for me, if I can not have food when I don't want food, it's really nice. And I remember when I first started learning about fasting, I was a little scared of it because I was like, but I'm going to wilt away. And I'm like, no. Right. So how long have you been doing like a type of fasting like this? And how long do you do it?
So I've been doing this fasting now for a few months. Now, when I was really in the zone of competing, I would do it all the time, and it works for me. You know, some people it doesn't work for, but for me it does. And I find, you know, it's all about consistency, right? You eat at the same time, you take all your supplements at the same time, you train at the same time. Your body gets adjusted to the foods. You know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. Bodybuilding, or, you know, in general, when we diet or get ready for a show, it's like a science experiment. You're the science experiment, you know, but I love the transformation. I love that when I see, oh my God, I see my abs, or, oh my God, I got a cut in my leg, or, oh my God, there's a little vein, you know.
First vein. You had me at my first vein.
Yeah. So for me, it's funny because, like I said, I was 210 pounds. My clothes, I love dressing up. I love fashion. And I have a huge collection of dresses with like tags still on it. I just impulse buy. I mean, I know it's wrong. But yeah, now when I put on my dresses, they literally fall off of me. So I have to completely change my wardrobe. I was a large. Now I'm like a small, large. I lost my kadonkadonk trying to build my kadonkadonk back up. But, you know, I love feeling good. You know, when you feel good mentally, physically, spiritually, body, mind, soul connection, it's a real thing, you know?
Yes.
A lot of people don't get that. They just think it's just about lifting weights. No, it's the whole thing.
It is.
You know, you feel so much better. And I believe in manifesting too, you know? And if you put positive vibes out there while you're dieting and think positive, I mean, listen, there's always going to be days where you're like, I just don't want to do this. But at the end of the day, you know, the end goal, you'll look fabulous. You'll feel good. You know, your health, your anti-aging. You know, you want to think about the long term, not the short term. Unfortunately, some athletes only think about the stage look. I think about the longer, you know, the health overall, you know, because that's a big deal for me,
right?
Too. So,
right. Well, yeah, you've been doing this a long time and you're getting back on stage. Yes. And so that longevity is something to be said, you know, there's something to be said about that, and being able to do that and still look feminine and beautiful and be able to inspire people.
And I love makeup, and I always have. Either I'll do my own makeup or hire a makeup artist, because I'm all about presentation. But I will tell you a funny story talking about carbs. So for my first bodybuilding prep, what I used to do, and I don't know where I got this from, but I would go to a place called Publix. It's a big grocery store, you know. I don't know if you ever heard of Publix.
Yes.
But,
oh, yeah.
you know, I'd be craving like the Publix sub or, you know, a cake or something. And what I would do is I go shopping and I would buy these things and I put it in my refrigerator. And then when I was craving it, I would open up my refrigerator. I cut a slice of cake, or I cut a piece of cake, and I'd rub it in between my hands. I'd smell it, and then I'd wash my hands, and I was cleansed. Like, okay, that instead of like cheating, you know, some people will eat the food and then they spit it out. But for me, again, my first show, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to look at the food, and then, you know, when it comes after the contest, I can eat this. But I never like cheated. I was very strict. I mean, if you told me to eat sawdust, I would eat sawdust. You know, this is what we do to attain that physique, right? That look.
Right.
But anyway, funny story.
Well, I got a funny grocery story, and I know we're kind of getting close to our end here, but I went with my ex-husband one time. We had gone out. I don't know. He was a Rhode Island guy. So we had gone out and we said, let's go grocery shopping, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was 1:30 or something like that. We're like, let's go to the store and get some goodies, you know, because it's late and we want to go have something good and some fun. So we go in there and we get ice cream. And I always have to get, whenever I get something like I shouldn't get, I have to get Cheetos, the crunchy style Cheetos, okay. Just the crunchy. And because I like the little bitty ones that have like full of flavor and they're just tiny little crunchy and they're like, so those are my favorite. But I have to get Cheetos. And we're going through the line and like, you know, ladies ringing everything up. And she looks up and she's like, are you in magazine covers? I was like, I have been. And she goes, you're Monica Brant. And so I was so, speaking of being like kind of embarrassed about all the junk that we had.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, goofing off in line. And I was like, don't judge me on my card.
Don't judge me.
All his. So we were laughing about it, but she was cute. She was like, oh, it's good to see you actually eat some good stuff once in a while. I'm like, yeah, once in a while, right? We gotta, I mean, never once in a while. So, but not when we're getting ready for shows.
Right.
Gotta stay dedicated. How long, just quickly, how long do you do your fasting? Because I'm sure somebody's hearing this and they're probably like, how curious, like while you're getting ready. Because I mean, I do stuff from 12 hours up to 24 to 36. So what would be like a typical fasting period for you?
So for my fasting, so let's just say ideally I like to stop my last meal, call me crazy, at like 5, like I said, 5:30, 6 o'clock. 7 is a little bit too late, but 5:36. And then my next meal, like the next day, wouldn't be until like 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 or actually maybe 6, 8, just depends. Yeah. Because sometimes I don't eat a lot of meals either. Like I may do 4 meals and then I may do 5. It just depends on how active I am as well, if I'm training intensely that day. But I love the fasting. I think more clear. You know, I feel really good. I see the results instantly. Like I said, I've lost 48 pounds. You know, and that wasn't from extreme dieting. That's just fasting and being consistent.
Mm-hmm. So I love that. And you know, it does make sense to stop eating earlier so that 12 hours can, you know, if you sleep 7 or 8 hours, if you do, right, then that's a big chunk of that fast where you're actually really able to recover. And I'm assuming you don't go to bed at 6 o'clock. So if you're fasting at like say 5, your perfect time, and then maybe bed's like 8 or 9, those hours prep you for a good sleep because now you're really into the more of that fasted state. And you can sleep and recover really well, wake up very energized, and you're going to go work out because you said you like to work out in the more of the nighttime. And then you're going to have all that natural growth hormone ready to go because fasting releases natural growth hormone for us. Insulin's down, so you're not storing stuff. Like it's a really beautiful place to be in if people can wrap their head around it. And I've really tried to help a lot of my clients with fasting, and some of them are open to it and some of them are just like, I can't do it. And so we try to talk through why you can't do it, you know, because we should all know how to do fasting just for our own. I mean, especially with what's coming up in the world right now, they're talking about all the famines that could be coming and, you know, the lack of food and like fasting is so important for, like you said, clarity of mind and the body to be in a good place and not to feel freaking out if there's not enough food at some point soon with what's going on in the world. Because, you know, you and I are here talking about all the wonderful, fun things we get to do and have done, but there's some real serious stuff going on in the world right now that is out there, which we don't need to dive into. But I'm really happy to hear that you're fasting and just even if it's, the 12, 14 hours, 16 hours, like for other people to hear that, I think it's so important. So they're not so stuck on food and food's controlling them.
Right. As we know in our industry, we do have a lot of people who, eat because of they're depressed, or they don't eat because they're depressed, and, it's good to feed your body good whole foods. And the fasting is a really big, important thing. What else I love to do too is detoxing. So I like lemon water. I always have fresh lemons in my water, just for a detox when I'm doing the fasting. Really makes a big difference too. But again, positive mindset goes a long way along the fasting.
Right. Exactly. And counting our blessings and just thinking there's, things could always be so worse. And we live in a country still that we have so many opportunities just right in front of us. Like
we do.
Amazing. And good people around us and people that support us. And it sounds like, you've got a really cool opportunity coming up with your show. I'm so excited for you to get back on stage.
Yes, I'm excited too. It's going to be really fun. I'm going to have a little bit of nerves, but that's all right. We work it out. But listen, I want to tell you that, it's people like you who make the world a great place. Your positivity. I mean, listen, you've been on a lot of magazine covers. You're a superstar, celebrity. Everyone loves you. And yes, I mean, you're gorgeous, beautiful physique, but it's the personality. You're who you are as a person. You're so genuine. You're so kind and so humble. And, it's people like you who really know how to brighten somebody's day. Like, like I tell Bob this the same thing. When you see superstars like yourself, you talk to fans and you treat them like you've known them your whole life. That goes a long way. I've seen superstars who don't even give fans the time of day, or not very positive, their own little world. But anyway, you're just so humble and kind. And again, that I respect and admire people like yourself. And it's such an honor to be on here. And, I wish we had more time to talk, but I'm just grateful, very grateful that you give me this opportunity.
It's been really fun to just get to know you a little bit more, and I'm excited for your show. Thank you so much for the honor and the blessing of who I am, and just the encouragement. I don't ever expect that, but it is appreciated, and I do appreciate. It is appreciated. Oh my gosh, I'm all tongue-tied because
it's all right.
You honored me so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I want to do something really fun. I want to do the 10 questions. We got 5 minutes to get these rapid fire questions in.
Oh boy.
You ready?
Not really, but go ahead.
Not ready. Not really. They're just fun. Let's get our music. Okay, we've got 5 minutes.
I'm shaking here. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. List 3 words that describe you as a teen.
3 words that describe me as a what?
A teenager.
Wild.
Sassy, I bet.
Wild, sassy, and
fast, strong, aggressive.
Yeah.
I got it for you, girl.
Aggressive.
Paid attention. Favorite glute exercise?
Hack squats for my glutes.
Ooh, okay, like the reverse?
Like reverse hack squats, yeah.
I love
or
those.
lunges.
Lunges. Okay, list 3 names of the last 3 people you talked to today.
𝗦𝗽cie, you, and my grandmother.
Oh, I love it. Great. Favorite gym to train in?
Madhouse Gym in Atlanta.
Madhouse, you already said. Okay, if you could live the life of a famous bodybuilder, who would it be?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. Favorite dessert, and do you share?
I do not share. I'll bite your fingers off if you try to have my dessert. So my favorite dessert is tiramisu.
Okay, girl. I won't be eating. I don't even like tiramisu. So I do key lime pie, so we wouldn't even have to share.
I love key lime pie.
Okay, I might share with you though. Only if it's graham cracker crust. What exotic animal do you most relate to?
Is a wolf an exotic animal?
Sure.
Wolf.
I like it. Wolf. I like it. Can you howl?
Oh. Really?
All right. When you're in the shower, do you wash behind your ears and between your toes?
Yes, I have a cloth and I get in between the toes. I scrub the feet really good. Wash behind the ears. Get in there. Yes.
You'd be amazed how many people are like, Oh my gosh, no.
Well, you have to, right?
I
You want to
think
keep
so.
everything in check.
I think so,
Absolutely.
too. I mean, yeah, you don't know what's going on sometimes. You gotta like feel it out.
Well, you
All
don't
right,
have any dirty, stinky ears or, nasty feet. You know what I mean?
no. Well, some people think that the water coming off your body just washes your feet. So
Yeah.
that's,
So there's people who also take like a 5-minute shower, put the water on them, and then quickly get out. So no,
that doesn't count, right?
I
Okay.
love my showers.
Me too, right? Okay, who has it better, cats or dogs?
Cats, but I love dogs. Cats, they don't have a care in the world.
Right? They're like,
Yeah, right.
I might need you. Right? List 3 of your favorite vacation locations.
Key West, Maui, and the Hamptons.
Those all sound that beautiful. And let's see, like if you want to see Belle Fun Vids. Yay! I want to see Belle Fun Vids. Let's see Belle Fun Vids. Hi, Maureen. I'm just seeing your post over here. Good dialogue, she says. Thank you. And Wood Baptiste. So my friend Woodley has, he works and does a lot for Haiti children. He's got a foundation.
Very nice.
So I know he's got a big drive right now to take 10 children to school. So for $300 for one child, gets them through school, gets their books, gets them shoes and their uniform for the full year.
That's amazing.
I'll have to share it with you. His
Yes,
foundation.
please do.
Yeah, he does a good job of taking good care of all the kids over there and even elderly moms and stuff. Okay, I know our 5 minutes is up. And Claudia, you've got fun vids. Let's see. I'm liking everything. Like.
So I want to say real quick, I also do a lot of things with the homeless. I've worked with Meals on Wheels. I'm all about helping people. Like that is my thing. My biggest Achilles heel is that I'm so kind that I will give away the last dollar. If I have it, I'll take off the shirt off my back to help anybody, because kindness goes a long way. So I actually have but I have a thing called Fit Kindness. It's about fit people doing random acts of kindness. And that's something that I do on the side. Just wanted to put that out there.
I love it. I'll have to share something that's been very heartfelt for me as of recent, but I'm not going to share it online here because it's pretty delicate, but it's right in line with that. And, one of the verses that comes to mind, because I'm a faith girl and I love the verses in the Bible, and I feel like it's our blueprint for life. So I like to read and understand what God has said for us. And one of his parables and stories and scripture is about, when you see someone cold, you don't just go tell them, oh, go get warm. You literally take your coat off, give it to them. You take them and put them in the hotel or, the inn or whatever. And you put them up, you get them warm, you feed them. You don't just walk by and say, I hope you get warm,
Right.
And that's literally scripture. And this whole last week has been a pretty emotional week for me with something that was pretty much it was exactly in line with what you're talking about. And I don't want to get crying teary-eyed here on the show, but I'm with you on that. Like, it's so important to take care of others, and we only have one chance to take care of people, and we got to do everything that we can to bless others. So I love that. And that's important. Do you have that as a link, or is it on a website, or is it just,
it's on a website.
So what's it called?
Fitkindness.com.
Fitkindness.com. Okay. So that's important to get out there. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, again, the random acts of kindness do go a very long way. You see 100%. Somebody having a bad day, it doesn't hurt anything by giving a smile, opening up a door, doing one kind act. It's like a domino effect.
Right. I agree.
Anyway.
I agree. I love it. Is there, I think Claudia's got some video to share. And then is there anything else? Is there anything else? I'm going to look over here. I think she sent me something. Let's do 1 minute break. Whoops. Sorry, Claudia. I think we've got a 1 minute break we're going to do right now, guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the very final end here with our awesome video with Miss Isabelle Turell, right?
Isabelle with the photo. Oh, man. This is way too fun now. You can't take it off now. Oh, Are you ready?
Do it one more. Yeah.
I think I'm ready.
I'm trying
Yeah?
to time myself.
Let's go. Oh, yes, start.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
start? She already started. She's all into it, man. Smiling.
I love it.
I can't believe how fat I am. Oh my God. Wow.
You're cute. Super fun. Super fun. Were those ping pong balls coming out? What?
Yeah, so it's twerking, like a twerking thing, and it just popped right out of the box. I couldn't figure it out. 𝗦𝗽cie, the wellness queen, I mean, you know, she's got that 𝗦𝗽cie. So
You're cute. I couldn't figure it out. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Well, you look great no matter what size you are, but I'm super excited for you for your show coming up. And thank you so much for coming on here. Is there anything
thank you for
else
having
you
me.
want? Yeah. So I know we've got your show and we've got the Fit Kindness. What did you say? Fitcare.com?
Fitkindness.com.
Fitkindness.com.
Yeah.
People can go there. Is anything else you want to share?
Nope. We'll see you guys at the Olympia. Check out the Fit Rockstar show every Saturday at 12 p.m. on the Wings of Strength channel.
There we
And
go.
if you guys have anybody you'd like to see on my show, please DM me at the Fit Rockstar show or my personal Instagram, Fit Rockstar.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to be at the Olympia this year too.
Hey, competing?
No.
Come back.
No, I'm going to be there hosting my show. And
Hey, awesome.
I'm excited because we're also launching a product.
Hey, there we go.
So super excited about it and can't wait to share it with you. We'll have to do something at the Olympia. It'll be so fun.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me.
All right. You have a beautiful, blessed rest of your trip. And I hope you get to wherever you're going. We won't talk about it, but I pray that it's safe and easy and you can bless other people's lives while you're going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, hon.
Thank you. Bye, Belle. All right, guys. Well, since I haven't had dinner tonight, I thought that I would open up one of my little snacks here. This is the Tasty Pastry Brown Sugar Cinnamon from my sponsor, Legendary Foods. So thank you guys so much for joining tonight. The 𝗦𝗽cie 𝗍𝗃 Show was so fun going live. I thank you for their comments. Hope you've enjoyed the show as well. And I'm going to say, stay fit, love life. See you guys on the next show. Have a great rest of your night.